What's up, fam? It's your girl Q back at Blessed to be a Blessing, where we are blessed to be a blessing. Thank you so much for tuning back into my channel tonight. I appreciate you greatly. I just want to first start off by saying Merry Christmas to everyone. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I wish you all of God's blessings and true, full abundance in every area of your life. That's from my heart to you. And I truly mean it. All right. So before we get started, go ahead and like, share, make sure you comment, and then subscribe if you haven't already. And to my 100 plus subscribers, I love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. You guys are truly my day ones. I hope not to ever let you down. All right, so let's just jump right into tonight's episode of Tyler Perry's Sistas, Season 3, Episode 22, entitled A Woman's Work. Y'all, so they picked up right where they left off with Zach in his new home and Hayden showing up, being a hater that he is. Y'all know something about a hater? Like, they just don't get no peace. I feel sorry for them because all they do is sit up worrying about you, worrying about somebody else, hating and being jealous and full of envy. That's got to be a horrible, horrible way to live. I digress. So anyway, Hayden's being the hater that he is, and he's threatening Zach to take him to the FBI about that insider trading. Zach seems real cool. He's threatening to whoop him up, giving him 90 seconds to get up out of his house. But I think low-key Zach is worried. Okay, he's concerned because this is serious, and what he did was insider trading. So I don't know. I don't know how Mr. Perry or the writers are going to put a spin on this one for next season when it comes back January 5th. I just don't know. So I'm just looking forward to it. I really hope my dude does not go back to jail. Please, Mr. Perry, don't put Zach back in jail. Don't do that. I mean, it's already hard on the brother out here. So help him out. Give him a job or something. Whatever. Don't let him go to jail. So anyway, that's that. So Zach, he's upset about it. So he goes home to Fatima and he lets her know. She's like waiting on him, sitting up drinking wine. Like, where you been? Like, what took so long? So he just let her know that he went to go look at the house, pay for the house or whatever. And that Hayden showed up. So he told her about that. And she was like, okay. And he was like, oh, what you mean? She was like, okay, don't worry about Hayden. So he's like, okay. So then he tells her that Karen is pregnant. So she's like, by you? And he was like, yeah. She was like, well, what about the preacher dude? He's like, well, she hadn't been with him long enough. So apparently what we've been watching for the last, I don't know how many months now, is just several days or maybe some weeks of time span in between these episodes, right? So they're saying that Aaron hasn't known Karen long enough to be pregnant. Child, I don't want to hear this. I know it's been more than 4 weeks when we've been sitting up here watching it, practically 4 months. Okay, but anyway, I digress. It seems like they are going to try to keep it going that this is Zach's baby. Anyway, so Fatima was like, okay. So he was like looking at her like, you not mad? She was like, look, what's going on right now is life. This is called life. And what you do with life is you live it. So she ain't sweating it. She loves Zach, She like, whatever. Karen got a baby then. Okay, but they still gonna be together, y'all. So I'm happy about that because at first I was concerned like, oh, Lord, this is gonna break them up. And, we are so happy to see them together. So that was that. And then Sabrina and Maurice. So they were at work and Maurice is kind of like in his feelings about the guy Q. And so Sabrina's like, forget him. Like he needs to be in jail. Okay, he needs to be locked away for a long time. He robbed a bank. And so Q's just like, well, he's really in his feelings. And shout out to the guy, Brian, I can't remember your last name, who plays Maurice. Honey, you are a very good actor. So he actually he showed emotion tonight. He actually cried. He was upset. So Sabrina made a comment to him about, well, he's not your daddy. He was like, what you say? What you say? She's like, oh. And then so she ended up confessing that when he was in the hospital, she spoke to his mother. And he was like, well, what did she say? he was like, she probably said that he was like not living the way God wanted him to live, and how he got what he deserved. And she's like, no, she didn't say that. He was like, tell me the truth. Don't lie to me. Tell me the truth. So she was like, okay, well, yeah. So apparently, he's not close with his family because of his gay lifestyle. So I feel sorry for him on that. And then she was like telling him that his mom talked about his dad and how his dad was on drugs, ended up in prison and stuff. So Sabrina was basically saying that Q being on drugs and going to prison and stuff like that is like a symbol of Maurice's dad, and she feels that Maurice is just trying to save his dad, which, I mean, that could be a theory. It could be very possible, but all I know is it really struck a nerve with Maurice bringing up his dad, and he went off on her, told her to mind her bleep, bleep, bleep business. And so he stormed off, and he literally started running. I almost laughed, but I know he was being serious, so I said I ain't gonna laugh at him. But anyway, so then when he calmed down, she came back to him and she was like, I'm so sorry, Maurice, I'm so sorry. Did I strike a nerve? He was like, yeah. So he ended up telling his story, which is just what I said about his dad being on drugs and in and out of prison, and how he had a memory of his dad taking him to the movies, and he went to the bathroom and never came back. Left little young Maurice there just watching the movie on repeat over and over and over again. Maurice had to actually call his mom to come pick him up. So like, he was just reminiscing about those bad memories of how his dad was on drugs and how that affected him as a child, and clearly still affects him as an adult. So shout out to Brian and Novi for that scene, actually being really serious and drama or dramatic. So I like that. So then the girls were all out at the strip club, honey, because remember I was telling y'all last week how the guy that they went to college with, he's got this huge crush on Danny. So he finally gets her to come to the club with all the girls, and they're there, they're partying or whatever. Sabrina's high on Valium. Of course, apparently she's been taking Valium here lately, trying to deal with all this stuff about Kelvin and his freaky deaky sex life. And then Karen shows up with her usual attitude, like, I try so hard to like this character, but she gets on my last nerve. My thing is, stay at home with all of that. Don't nobody want old Killjoy, Negative Nancy, Debbie Downer around them while they trying to have a good time. Okay, she should have took her old pregnant, down and out, but home if she didn't want to have a party or a good time. So of course she's avoiding drinking, and they're like, why won't you drink? Why won't you drink? It's like a big issue of why won't she drink. Now one of them dingbats put it together and figured, well, the heifer must be pregnant. Nobody knew, okay? So they just kept thinking, oh, that preacher man rubbing off on her. He rubbing off on her. Honey, I don't know how he rubbing off on her so tough, because every time we see him just about now, he throwing back shots of Hennessy, okay? And he's supposed to be a recovering alcoholic. She got him drinking. He was celibate. She got him having sex. Child, please, if anything, she rubbing off on him in a negative way. So anyway, she's up in there acting moody or whatever. So they end up going home or whatever. And Andy was texting back and forth with Robin. Sabrina ended up just going home or whatever. And Karen went home too. But Danny ended up going out like to another little bar and then back to her place with the stripper dude. I can't remember his name. I don't even know if this old boy gonna be a regular character or not. He probably is, because we've seen him a couple times now. Anyway, so they go back to her house, and honey, he's like on her, telling her how much he liked her in college. And she was like, we were both fat. Like, you was fat, I was fat. And he was like, yeah, but look at us now. I said, okay, the glow up is real, baby. So Danny's like really hesitant because she's thinking about Preston. Preston hasn't called her all day. So now she's in her feelings, because remember I was telling y'all, now she's concerned and worried about this female cousin that he's living with, and so she's all in her feelings about it. And he goes a whole day and not call her. So that's why she went ahead and let old boy come to the house. So they get to the house, he wants to put on a private show, and so he's grinding and dancing all on her. I thought it was just like I didn't particularly like it. I mean, me personally, I was like, you keep your little naked stripper body right up here in this club. You coming to my house, bringing all them spirits up in my house. Anyway, so it turns out like they wake up in the morning, he's still knocked out in the bed, and she's dressed for work. I don't know if they actually had the S word or not, But I guess that's where they want to leave us hanging, and we'll find out January 5th. I really don't even care, honestly, because all of these women are loose booties and they all sleep around and they're promiscuous, and it's just a bad representation of black women. But I digress. So anyway, so she puts him out. She's like, you got to hurry up and leave. I got to go to work, blah, blah, blah. And very predictable, as I thought. She goes to the door and boom, Preston's at the door. Y'all know he like to pop up anyway, okay? So he's at the door and he sees the dude and he's like, what? So their scene ended like that. So we'll find out January 5th how that plays out. Now, back to Andy, little loose booty Andy. Honey, she goes taking her little drunk tail over to Robin's hotel room. This dude, Robin... Yeah, I think he's a liar. I really do. I'm going to go ahead and drop some predictions. I think he's a liar. I think he's definitely some type of sex addict type of person, like a swinger and all of that kind of stuff. You know, he's in that life. And I think Andy need to run for the hills, okay, and leave him alone. He ain't no better than Gary. I'll say that. So now he's telling her, you know, he's sitting down having dinner or whatever. They start having drinks or whatever. And she's all, you know, giddy because she's so drunk. And so... she's like, I thought you were going back to London. I'm like, my point exactly. Dude been going back to London tomorrow for like the last 4 episodes. When you going back home, sir? So he's like, oh, well, you know, he comes up with some stupid excuse. And now all of a sudden he's like, my plane, the plane broke down. She's like, well, all you got to do is just book you another flight. He's like, well, you know, the plane is like, I kind of own it. So now he's telling her that he owns a private jet. He owns his own plane. Do you believe that? Okay, I don't. So I'm like, okay, here we go. And she's like, really? Really? She already ding dong in the brain. And then she drinking alcohol on top of that. Oh, Lord help her. So anyway, that's his new story. I don't believe this dude. I think he's a liar. So anyway, they ended up getting ready so they can have some sex. And then they're seeing cut. But when it came back to them, they were waking up in the morning. He actually called Fatima for her and was like, yeah, Andy and I had a meeting this morning and she's going to be late, blah, 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 blah. Fatima like, yeah, whatever. Y'all was up screwing all night. You know, Fatima ain't stupid at all. Okay. So she didn't say that to him though, but she know what the tea is. So when Andy wakes up, she's like, oh my God, I got meetings. I got this. I got this. He like, calm down. Take a couple hours off. Don't worry about it. Trying to act like, oh, he told her that he owns the whole company, y'all. 121 lawyers that he owns the whole firm. Yeah. Lie number gazillion. Child, he ain't owning nothing. I don't believe this dude worth a nickel. And if she sit up and lay up in that bed with him all day, believing he's the owner and talking about, oh, well, okay, I just lay up. He gonna mess around and have her lose her job. So I don't know. I guess she took her behind the work. They didn't really say because, honey, before the scene was over, he was like telling her, well, you know, we would really like to do this again. She like, we. So I'm immediately thinking him and that woman. I'm like, oh, maybe he wants to bring that woman back in. Honey, lo and behold, somebody comes walking up. I think it was out the bathroom or something. Guess who it was? Oh, chocolate drop Gary. Yes, it was, honey. I knew it all along. Gary been setting her little dingbat self up. And I'm starting to think he must go both ways because Robin said we would like to do this again. So I'm thinking, was Andy so drunk that she don't know that she just had sex with 2 men? And did they have sex with each other too? And it was like all 3 of them doing each other. Did they rotate? Like, do they? I don't know how it goes. So this is getting ready to be real interesting. And I'm curious to find out what is really going on. Which further proves as evidence that this dude Robin is a liar, because now he knows Gary. Now y'all know Gary ain't nothing but a con artist too. So that's how that ended. But baby, the real the best part, and I saved it for last. My girl Fatima caught old punk behind Hayden getting in his car in the parking deck. So he gets in the car, honey. She walks on up and she gets right on in the passenger side. He like, what you doing? Why you getting in my car? What you want? And she like, so you just not gonna leave Zach alone, huh? He like, nope, I'm not. I'm sure not. I'm not gonna stop. She like, okay, okay. I was wondering, like, is he gonna ever stop? And I see that you're not. She was like, so... Okay, so honey, sister girl pulled out her brass knuckles and started putting them on her hand. Hayden was like, "What, girl, what you doing? Police? Oh, you think you get, honey? She, bah, bah." Honey, she started wearing his little punk behind out in that car. And do you know this fool had the nerve to hit her back? She was like, oh, that's when she stopped. She was like, oh, you hit me. You hit me. And then she started laughing like a crazy woman, like, that's exactly what I wanted your dumb so-and-so to do. Then she said, did some type of whistle, child, and honey, me and start jumping out the vans next to them and everything. They come in the car and they beat the brakes off of Hayden. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. But see, I really wanted Zach to do it, but I know Mr. Perry got to keep Zach out of jail. But honey, I wanted Zach to put them paws on him. I really did, because he the one that really needs to get Hayden. Hayden just won't leave him alone, telling him if he don't leave Fatima alone, he going to the FBI. Like, even if he did leave Fatima alone, Fatima don't want him. Like, she called him, you little elf. Okay? You little elf. She don't even want you, little man. Okay? So that's how that ended. And then I don't know if you guys watch it. I hope you did. It's on BET, of course, and BET Plus. But then the Tyler Perry show aired right afterwards, where they have like the cast, the real life cast there, talking about the show, predictions and things that they want to see in their characters. So I won't go into all of that. It was pretty good though, pretty decent, but overall, the show is still predictable. I still enjoy it only because I am a huge Tyler Perry fan. And I really hope one day, Mr. Perry, holla at your girl. Don't worry about it. I'm going to send you a headshot. That's what I'm going to do in the bio. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to drive down there to Atlanta to Tyler Perry Studios. And I'm going to get my audition on. I am. So anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning back into my channel tonight. Here, Blessed to be a Blessing. Again, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Merry Christmas if I don't see you again before Christmas, and Happy New Year. I won't have another update for this video, of course, until January 5th. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Be blessed. I love you all to life. I really do. All right. Also, remember, you reap what you sow, guys. So you better sow some good. All right. Good night.